Hey guys, Lady Lee here from Lady Lee's Home. In this video, I want to talk to you about freezing tomatoes. This is a trick that kind of fell on me back in the day a few years ago. The kids were little and I was trying to do all the things in July and August and September. The growing season was at its peak and the tomatoes were coming in by the gallon, and I wanted to make tomato sauce and stewed tomatoes and can whole tomatoes and can hold all the things and preserve all the tomatoes and make sure that I keep that summer flavor last for a few more months. But it was just too much. There was a lot of other things to do during the season and I couldn't spend so much time in the kitchen. And then one day I realized that I really can just throw my tomatoes in the freezer and pull them out in December or January or whenever I want to and can them then. And that little trick really changed the growing season for me. So a few little tips here. I don't always remove the core like you see me do here with the strawberry core thingy, but this time I did. If you have a little bit of time and you want to do that, then that just makes it a little bit easier later. You also don't have to put them on a baking sheet like you see me do here. I just wanted to show you how they look when they are frozen, but really it is so simple. I harvest my tomatoes during the growing season. I harvest my tomatoes when they are just starting to turn red and not completely ripe yet. This way I minimize pest damage, and then I leave them on the counter and let them ripen completely. And once they are ripened, then I remove the core, or don't remove the core, remove rotten parts that I do all the time, and then I stick them in the freezer. You can just throw them in a bag and throw them in the freezer, or if you don't want them to squish together or whatever, then you can place them on a baking sheet like this and then put the baking sheet in the freezer. After 24 hours, bring the baking sheet out. Tomatoes are completely frozen by this time, and you just take a produce bag or a Ziploc bag and put them in the bag, and then put the bag back in the freezer. I think, as far as I know, that you can do this with any type of tomato. You can freeze any kind of tomato. And I think the nicest thing about this, which I didn't realize the first couple of times that I did it, but the nicest thing about freezing the tomatoes is, first of all, sometimes during the growing season you don't have so many tomatoes ripen at the same time that you can go ahead and can a good amount. So this way it kind of gives you time to accumulate a good amount of tomatoes so you can process a whole lot at once. But also, when you thaw your tomatoes after they're frozen, the skin comes off very easy. You can just peel it off. And that saves you the need to blanch the tomatoes or boil the tomatoes in order to remove the skin, because the skin doesn't break. So when we can it, it kind of stays a little tough, and some people don't like the texture. Sometimes I don't care, but for the most part, we remove the skin before canning. So when you freeze, that the skin comes off easily. That's it, you guys. Just a short tip. I'll see you again in the next video.